Welcome to Nacho Fitness Coach. I'm Sara, the expert.
And I'm Caleigh, the beginner.
Join us as we discuss fitness culture
from our two very different perspectives.
So grab yourself a protein shake
Or a glass of wine.
and let's get started. So Caleigh, let's talk about feet.
All right.
So you have some challenging feet.
I have some
Genetic things going on.
Yeah.
Some lifestyle things.
Yep. All of the above.
Yeah.
Got a lot going on with the feet.
Uh-huh.
I've got the flat feet, which I was born with. I've always had flat feet, which has caused issues with my knees. I don't know, alignment. But I have bunions, I have corns, I have, whatever, everything you can. I probably couldn't get a lot of money for feet pictures. You know what I mean?
You're not a foot model. You're not going to be the ideal candidate for a foot model. Well,
Yeah.
you know.
For the private sector.
Oh, no. Oh,
I don't know.
all of her OnlyFans accounts.
There's probably a market out there. Really.
Actually, there probably is.
Messed up feet.
Well, you know, there's something for everyone.
Yep.
So flat feet, what exactly does that entail?
My arches are non-existent. I have no
arch in the foot.
Never have. Like when I step on, concrete getting out of the pool, like my wet footprint is an oval.
It's all in there.
Yeah. And it never really mattered to me too much, I guess, until I started running.
We're discovering all kinds of new problems with this whole health and wellness journey.
Yeah. And it's been tough because I've tried to research. I've been kind of told my whole life that if you have flat feet, you need shoes with arch support, but that's so uncomfortable to put something, try to put something in a space that's not available.
Well, you kind of learned that the hard way with some new running shoes.
Yeah, I did. Well, so when I started running, I was like, well, because I know me, I'm like, I don't know how long I'm going to do this. Probably not very long. And so I just went and bought some new Nikes. And the ones that I bought initially they were okay. They did the job. And then they had a spot that it started to wear on the seam, wear off. So it started rubbing and was going to cause a blister. So I got out of those, switched to just my other pair of Nikes that I bought at the same time. And those have been fine. But then, recently I was like, I need to get some because I started having bunion pain. All right, time for some real running shoes. So I did all my research, and
the best running shoes.
I bought them, and I spent more money on these shoes than I've ever spent on a pair of shoes in my life.
Yeah,
and they were the Hoka's. I don't remember which one they were. I waited all week for them to come. I was so excited. I know how many times was I like, my shoes are coming on Monday, and so they came on Monday, and immediately when I put them on, I was like, oh no. The arch was so high, and it wasn't even just the insole. It was the foam on the outside of it. It was pushing up into, I want to say arch. There's no arch.
the inner part of your foot.
And I used them for 2 days on the treadmill, and second day I sent you that picture of that was on both feet. Where
it looked painful.
Where it was going to be painful. It wasn't.
Is that a bruise yet or no?
It was the beginnings of a blister. It didn't bruise or anything, but I was like, these aren't obviously. So right after the second day on the treadmill, because the box was still sitting there, I just stuck them right back in the box and started a return. Shipped them bad boys back.
How did they feel when you were wearing them? Did they feel uncomfortable?
In that area, yeah, because I wore them, because I got them on Monday. I wore them Monday night just to kind of get we weren't doing anything crazy, just kind of get a feel for them. And I was like, it was I couldn't ignore it, So I had a feeling that they were going to be an issue, and they were.
So now you're back to square one.
Now they're gone.
With the footwear research.
Yeah.
Now the Nikes, when you got those though, did you research and just
not
buy
much?
Them? You just ordered them online though?
I didn't order them online. I tried them on.
You went to a store?
Yeah.
Okay.
There wasn't a whole lot of
You're these
research
still good.
on the Nikes.
Here we're gonna go.
I don't know. And for me, I'm like, oh, Nikes.
A well-recognized name.
Right.
And you're like, okay. Well,
and they were fine. That was why, I gravel ran with those for quite a while, and they weren't uncomfortable. They were fine until that one spot started wearing, which I think is pretty common.
Which if you have bunions forever?
No, I don't think so. I think that's kind of been more of an adult problem.
So then we're back to square one with the
so now I've got to
research
get
of the
some
shoes.
And so sometimes every once in a while I'm like, I wonder if the thing that Sara says to do has any value or, credence.
Everything I say has value.
Maybe she knows some things. I don't know. But then
maybe not.
So you wear these flippers.
People
for lack of a better.
People do feel like they're flippers.
They look like.
Well, it's a lot more awkward for other people to look at me than
you feel.
I feel, because I don't even notice them anymore.
Okay, so you wear the five toe. You wear the
five
toe.
fingers, the Vibrams.
Yeah,
the 5 fingers.
They're toe shoes. You put each toe in an individual toe slot.
Yeah.
So the other day I was like, all right, I'm gonna, because they're barefoot shoes.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, let me look into this barefoot thing, because what I've learned is like getting shoes with high arches or high arch support is probably, you can find both arguments for flat-footed people. Can you believe it?
No, I can't. It's crazy that now we have another topic where it's like, look, you can find whatever you want to find.
But if you follow the money.
Right. Well, that's what usually wins out.
So that you go and, get fitted for orthotics or insoles or special this, special that.
Yep.
I don't know. It's all a scam. I think it's all a scam.
It's all a scam. We just need to go and reconnect with nature and just be barefoot all the time and go out and run in forests.
You're probably right. But I don't know what day it was this week. I decided, all right, I'm going to look into this whole barefoot thing that Sara does. Maybe I just need to let my feet be free.
I like that.
I mean, I stay home, so I'm barefoot quite a bit, and it feels better than anything else.
Yep. And
so I started telling you, I was like, I'm gonna buy these barefoot shoes, and you were like, just get on your treadmill with no shoes on.
Yeah, that's a good start.
I was like, okay, but
you have a treadmill,
but I still need new shoes.
Like, it's not gonna work for outside.
It can't just be barefoot all the time.
I mean, you could.
So I did, and we haven't even talked about this yet. I did get on my treadmill.
Okay. Oh, barefoot. Yeah. Okay.
Well, with my socks on.
Yeah.
And it was fine. It was different. I did start feeling some weirdness in my knees.
Okay.
And I did start getting a blister on the bottom of one of my feet.
We do need to have a conversation though then about the socks. We talked about that a little bit this morning too at the workout.
Why?
That even like socks that aren't toe socks.
Yeah.
Will still push your feet together.
I'm not gonna go barefoot on my.
Why?
Not at the gym, first of all.
Oh no, you don't need it at the gym. You own a treadmill at your house.
I know. It just felt.
It might
weird.
be a little rough.
Jeremy did get on the treadmill after I did. He was like, I want to try it and see. He didn't like do a whole thing, but he tried it, and the treadmill was hot because I had just been on it. So like the tread.
Yeah, the belt
of the mill.
The belt. That thing.
It was like warm, on. But I think I still would have gotten a blister, probably more so without the socks.
Your feet are delicate at this point, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So
anyway, I ordered a couple pairs of barefoot shoes.
Yeah. But not the toe shoes.
No, because I did. Everything that I looked at was like kept sending me back to the kind that you have. What are they called?
Vibram.
Okay. All the lists of like the best barefoot shoes, like those were at the top. So I'm like, all right, whatever. So I go to the site and I'm looking at them and I'm like figuring out my size. And the more I looked at them, I'm just like, no.
Can't do it.
It's just not where I'm at yet. That's not who I am. I love that for you. I love that you can go walk around town in those shoes.
I do.
That's great.
I get very weird looks mostly from kids, actually. I feel like they notice it more than anything because they're like, those look funny.
I look at you weird.
You do?
I see you.
Okay.
Every time.
Well, then adults look at me weird, too.
I would love to get to the point where, I don't know, maybe you have to turn 40 first.
Maybe.
You know what I mean?
I started wearing them at like 30.
Oh, okay. Well.
So it's been quite a journey for me.
You just kind of think you get to a point where you just don't care anymore. So
how I found my barefoot shoe experience was when I was training for my full marathon.
Your what?
My full marathon.
Why have you never told me you ran?
We've done.
Oh, you have told me. That's right.
Oh, wait. I have more than once. It comes up frequently. Remember
that time you walked the marathon?
I race walk.
Okay.
I race walk many races because that's enjoyable. I'm not built to be a runner. So I started having knee problems because I was never trained as a runner, or I was never, understood the form or anything. I just had got this wild hair. I was like, I'm going to go.
You got bored.
I got bored and I was like, I'm going to go train for a full marathon.
Right. Like you do.
You know, so I got training. And so my IT band really started bothering me, but it was the same thing. It was go get custom orthotics.
Yeah.
Like, here's all the things. Like, just basically Band-Aid it more or support the issue more and not necessarily fix what's causing the issue. And at that time, my aunt was visiting from California. And, you know, everything hits the coasts.
Yeah.
And it takes a few years to kind of like work its way into the Midwest. And so she was visiting in the summer. And her and my cousin had started wearing them. And she had some issues, maybe her ankle or knee or something, I don't know, and it was bothering her. And so she started wearing those, gone. And I was like, maybe I should just do that. Maybe it's the shoes, you know, or the orthotics that's really actually bothering my knee. Or maybe my gait's a little off or whatever. But I was a lazy runner, so I was heel striking really bad. And so, anyways, I started wearing them, and my knee pain went away, and
And you've been
fine ever since.
in that cult ever since.
Ever since.
And that's what I
100%.
realized this past week. It's a cult. It
totally is.
That's a whole situation.
It is very much so.
Because like I've mentioned before, when I have an interest in something, I go and like join all the subreddits, all the Facebook groups like related to that topic. And yeah, it's a whole
new world.
Well, and here's the interesting thing was that because the people who are on the side of being barefoot, like it's the only way to go. If you put your shoes or your feet into regular shoes, you know, that's a cardinal sin. Don't do it. Never again.
I agree with those people.
Okay. But I did read an article about, and I don't remember what it was. Maybe I can find it again. But I read an article about how it was from a foot doctor. What are they called? A podiatrist?
Yes.
They were saying like, yes, bare feet can be great. Yes, that's probably the way it was supposed to be. Our feet were not supposed to be shoved inside shoes that don't fit us, right? But the fact of the matter is they already were. So you can't just go straight from shoes with XXX support and then
to nothing
because you don't have those muscles built up yet.
Right.
And so you're going to potentially cause more problems by just going barefoot.
Yes. Well,
we say barefoot. We haven't really explained what barefoot shoes are.
So that's true. So, I mean, they vary. They don't have to have the toes in them.
No.
But basically, like, I don't know if it's the true definition, but to me, a barefoot shoe is something that doesn't have any kind of, like, foam bottom.
Have the zero drop where, like, the front of your foot and the back hit at the same level.
Yes. Have zero drop. Have zero, like, curvature in the bottom. You know, the first thing I do anytime we get shoes is I rip out that little like insert thing.
Well, and the way that they squeeze your toes together, the way that our toes look, if you think of a baby's toes,
they're wide,
like splayed out, whereas like you look at an adult's toes, they're all
gotten
pushed together, and that's not it's not the way it was supposed to be.
No, and that's definitely a lifestyle thing where it's happened over time. And so then, you know, when you think about it though, like, you know, it's really big in like the yoga world where it's just like, you know, your feet are what ground you and, you know, being able to spread out and plant. And it's one of those things where it's your connection. Yeah. And we've all gotten squished into like our shoes. And so our feet aren't functioning well. But think about it. I mean, your foot is literally what kind of aligns your entire body. Yeah. You know, if your feet are not functioning properly, you're going to be compensating it.
Well, and that's what I'm realizing now. I'm like, my posture is awful. Yeah. And I think it's all connected.
It's all connected. So it's like, if maybe because my feet aren't like sprawled out and I'm using my toes all correctly and like, you know, having, you know, the way my foot hits the ground.
Well, and you saw this morning how my feet hit the ground and just
they totally duck in, you know,
where my ankles cave in, my knees. I walk with my feet pointed outwards because when my toes are pointed outwards, my knees are straight ahead where they should be. But if I put my feet straight ahead like a normal person walks, my knees point inward.
You go knock-kneed a little bit. So we need to work on probably some hip strengthening stuff though too, because you can work on bringing that out. So those are the things that are important though to understand when you start strength training and then like loading your movements. the last thing you want to do when you're doing lower body exercises is for your knees to start caving in, because that's going to create all kinds of issues too. So you have to have that strong foundation.
Yeah.
And it starts with your feet.
Yeah.
And kind of that connection and that grounding and that whatever, so, years ago I would always see a lot of gym people at the gym, and they would wear Converse shoes.
Oh gosh.
Because at that time they had the zero drop. They were flat on the bottom, the rubber, but like what was getting very quickly underestimated was how narrow they are, and they like pinch and point your toes in. And so,
I tried Converse one time, probably 10 years ago.
they hurt.
I wore them literally one time and took them back. They hurt my feet so bad.
Yep. And so, because they're very, very, very narrow. And so, yes, it was the beginning of the strength training world, I guess, to figure out, okay, having zero drop.
Interesting.
And you don't want to lift in running shoes.
Yeah.
It's very unstable.
Yeah.
Because you're basically standing on like little cushions there, and and it's going to roll in and out. And a lot of running shoes will force your gait to either roll your foot slightly out or slightly in. And so I don't know if that's due to like trying to correct natural things happening, while you're running or not, but figuring that out and solving the true problem is definitely the way to go. So there's some Instagram accounts that I've shared with you though, that I've found like they have really helpful content on like information. And so there's some suggestions for like exercises and things like that.
See, that's like, I looked into that, the exercises, and I've started doing them a little bit, but the one thing I read was like, do this for 30 minutes I don't.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
I feel like a little bit something.
Would I like to fix my feet? Sure.
Yes.
Do I have
that's
all the
a
time
long
in the
time?
world?
No.
No.
Well, and that's even like you mentioned that the barefoot kind of shoe, it's not usually like switching 100% to it overnight.
Right.
We don't wear shoes in our house, so we walk around barefoot a lot at home. So I was pretty used to it already. I did just do the cold switch. I just got rid of them and I was fine. But my husband, he has had plantar fasciitis and different things that have happened with his feet. And so he did more of the, I'm going to wear these for, 15 minutes a day and then switch and did the gradual thing. And it helped him a little bit more too.
I don't know which way I need to. I don't know. I'll try these new shoes. They're coming tomorrow, I think.
So they're flat on the bottom, but then they've got the full shoe on top. You don't have to fit your toes into the little slots.
There's no toes.
So you're like, no, that's just weird.
I don't know.
Creepy.
Maybe I'll get there someday. But
well, I have started expanding because, when I started wearing them, I was traveling for my corporate job a lot, and they were a very big topic of conversation. And I like having conversations with people I know. I struggle with random people in an airport, and the runner community.
Oh, and that's a definite
awesome
conversation starter. It's your weird shoes.
It is, especially with runners, and because you'll see people, in the running community, it's like they can pick each other out. I mean, really, any community can recognize somebody that's like you, right? And so I would have people that were runners stopping me in airports. Terrible. And hey, do you run in those? Oh. Yeah, I've done half marathons on them. And they're like, do you like them? And it's like, well, I'm obviously wearing them, so I do really like them. And yes, I've ran races in them. Well, I've race walked my races in them. Let's just make sure that's clear. And so, but it was a nonstop conversation starter, and that was really super irritating for me as a very personal introvert in social with strangers. It was like I just want to put on my headphones and not have to talk. So they have now since come out with so many different options to get barefoot shoes that look regular on top. Yep. Have a wide toe box, so they got plenty of room to spread out, and so they are definitely less obvious. Yeah. Now, and you've got lots of options.
Yeah, there's a lot out there.
So I'm excited to see kind of what you think about yours. Yeah. When you get it in. But
I'm excited.
It'll be a good time. But take it easy.
Yeah.
Just kind of work on it.
I know. I think I probably won't run in them initially.
I think that's some other things to straighten out.
Oh, I was going to ask you too. Do you love this whole barefoot thing? Were you like a kid that ran around barefoot outside?
I don't think so, but I grew up out on the farm. I was a country kid, and so we never wore shoes in the house because it was it's dirty out in the country. And so I just have always been barefoot inside.
Okay. I didn't know if you were one of those feral children.
No, I don't remember that much. I don't particularly care for. Do I seem like I would be that kind of kid?
I don't know. I don't know.
Grass, I think I don't really like the feeling of grass.
Yeah.
On my feet. So
I can't walk outside at all.
And because I don't wear socks then ever either. I mean, my feet are really rough. And so you would think that would make it easier to walk out on harder surfaces, concrete, gravel, whatever. It's not. It's almost like worse because then it cracks all the hard stuff. And
you could probably get some good money for those pictures.
The cracking, I probably could. There's probably some product of, hey, if you are the marketing person of some company that has some crack fixing cream or something, like I got your befores. I got your befores. Do you know what I'm talking about? No, I don't know what you're talking about. All right, these two are on a totally different levels. I'm taking it one way. Are you going to fill me in or are you just going to leave me hanging?
There is a wide population of people out there who want pictures of feet.
Oh, like fetish people. I'm like taking this down the marketing
you
sales
missed it earlier.
I totally missed it.
Oh, sweet, naive, sweet baby angel. It's a whole...
That's a real thing?
Stay sweet. It's a very real thing.
Really? I mean...
It's true.
You can... I mean...
Really?
Why? I know from experience. People like feet.
That's weird.
And it really is just as simple as...
Pictures?
Pictures of your feet. Yeah.
You can make money doing that?
Good money.
Oh.
We're in the wrong.
Oh, you're not kidding. Like,
me with my big old clod hopping flat feet and you and your rough man feet, we could probably make some pretty good money.
We probably could. Well,
I feel like this episode was going really, really well. Like we were hitting some good points.
Until you had like 4 more drinks of your high noon. I just
knew I couldn't let this episode end without talking about...
I mean, I could have. I didn't
the market that is. And I love Alan was dying over there. Sarah's talking about foot cream.
And I can't see Alan because he's off to my side. So sometimes I feel like I'm in the worst seat in the house because I can't see Alan's reactions. Oh no. Okay, well then now I know. Mm-hmm. You know, you learn something new every day.
If you need a little extra income here and there, I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen your actual feet, so I can't tell you.
Well, I mean, yeah, I know they're covered with my shoes.
What you're gonna get for those, but
well, I guess how do I find out? Okay, I don't think I want to know. I'm like, wait, money?
Alan's like, I know a guy.
You're like, no.
Anyway, I have no idea where we're at.
I don't know. I mean, we started talking about footwear, and then you hightailed it to feet, and that's fine. We can bring it back, though. I mean, we'll.
You act like I changed the subject. I really. We're still talking about feet.
We are. Well, I mean, it's footwear.
Yeah.
Which you do put on your feet technically, but I guess I did take it there a little bit because you asked me.
You started talking about what your feet look like.
You asked if I walked around barefoot as a kid.
Yeah.
So I guess here we go. We're all brought up.
Do you also put your kids, do you try to keep them in like barefoot shoes?
Yes.
Or
there's one, I actually tried to find kid size versions of my Vibram shoes and
they don't have them.
I could not find them. So if they exist, I wasn't able to locate them. But you know, kids do, it is nice for them to have protection of their toes, like with like a thicker rubber because they are rough and they play and they do all the things. And so I don't know, they might struggle if I even was able to find their size. So there is a very specific version of tennis shoes that I do put them in. Yeah. That first thing I do though when I get them is I take the insoles out.
You do.
So they're straight on the rubber bottoms, but they've got a nice wide toe box.
I bought both my kids Keens last summer. Oh, which they're not technically barefoot, but
No.
they do have a nice wide toe box. And
Yeah, they do.
And a lot of protection. I mean, it's a closed
Yeah.
toe situation.
Good for the summer.
So, yeah, they're great shoes. So they're
Well,
waterproof.
for the longest time, I mean, because my oldest, like her feet were really wide from the very beginning. And I always felt bad, you know, even like the little Sperry's. And
Yeah.
they're so cute. And you think, oh, this is going to be great. And like, I would put them on her and it was or even the Converses for her
Yeah.
were like super narrow. And it wasn't fitting her feet very well. So for the longest time, she was just in Crocs.
Yeah.
Because Crocs did at least give her a nice wide kind of toe box. So that's kind of their summer pick, even still usually to today.
Yeah.
And then, I do have a kids version of Play. Plae is the brand of
I've seen
shoes
those.
that they
In my extensive research.
wear. You came across it a little bit. So it's a wide toe box and they have a chance.
Well, and the brand that I bought, I don't know how you say it. Cigarros?
Yeah, I don't know. I never heard
It's
about
like
that
a
one
cheap,
before.
I mean, I think you can even get them at Walmart. It's like a $40 pair of shoes. They have kids shoes.
Oh, they do? See, so some of them it would be good to get. But it's hard for like little girls to get like dress shoes that are nice and wide because they all just go straight out and they're narrow. And so
But they are coming out with a lot of like I've seen adult shoes anyway. There's a lot of like Mary Jane style shoes or like ballet flats.
Oh, yeah, that would give her some room. A little bit more so.
Yeah.
But they still don't cut them very wide.
No, they're not very wide.
So she's usually in like her really pretty sequiny, tooly, spinny around dress with her Crocs because that's just how we roll.
I mean, she's
knows.
a kid.
It's
That's
fine.
the way it should be.
She can take the pick and
And
say,
that was kind of the other thing that kind of like I always knew I had flat feet and I knew I had feet issues, but it wasn't until like high school, college age where all these girls were out wearing high heels. It's ridiculous. I would try to wear heels. I'm like, what is wrong with me? Like, why can't I figure this out? Why can't I wear heels? I could not physically could not walk in them.
were they painful?
Extremely painful.
Oh, really?
I could not. And even still, because it happened just a few months ago, I went to a wedding and I got a wild hair and I was like, oh, I'm going to wear these. And they're not high heels. Probably have a, I don't know, inch and a half. All right, I'm going to wear these. I'm going to take some sensible shoes along to change into because I know better. And I don't know why I do this because it never goes well. I can't walk from the car into the
You couldn't even get across the parking lot.
I mean,
I gotta get her back.
It hurts. And not only that, but I look ridiculous. Because I remember I used to watch girls. I'm like, what are they doing that I can't do? How are they walking? What am I missing? I don't know. I can't do it. My feet don't fit in heels. Bad news.
Bad news. Yeah.
it
was never meant to be. It's
I
fine.
have, for the most part, sworn off.
You don't
wearing
need
any
high
kind of
heels.
heels. No,
which
you
is
don't.
hard.
You
They're
really don't.
beautiful and they are very fun. They're
Not
pretty,
for
but
me.
they are
They're
not.
not for everybody.
They are not good for
That's
your feet.
fine.
That's for sure. Not good for your feet. Mm-mm. So, give it a try. I'm excited to hear.
Yeah.
So we'll have to like talk about this again after
Yeah.
you get your shoes and you start kind of working into them and running to see how it goes, because I do think it'll be really interesting to see what changes.
Yeah.
If anything, maybe nothing changes and you go back to those Nikes. I don't know.
Maybe.
But hopefully.
Yeah.
And we'll
I
work
was
on-
just really disappointed with the Hokas.
Yeah, that's a bummer because
So
that's
did
all
not
I ever
work out.
hear too about like ultra runners or
and
people
I
that do a
actually
lot of road
specifically
miles.
seeked out shoes for like flat feet, bunions, and like that's what
Kept pulling
came
it.
up.
Yeah.
So,
We're going to convert you over to the dark side.
all right.
Barefoot all the way. Oh, that is a really loud train. Oh, well then, I guess just in time.
Are we hearing that in our headphones?
Yeah, it's totally coming through the
Wow.
mic. Why is that train so much louder?
It's kind of freaky.
All right. Well,
Anyway.
as we wrap up this episode, we'll send you off with that train noise in the back of the building that was really loud tonight. So with that,
All right.
until next time.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. Be sure to head over to our Instagram at Nacho Fitness Coach and let us know how you feel about the topic. Do you love it or hate it?
Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe or follow button wherever you're listening. And if you like our podcast, leave us a rating. See you next time.
You've been listening to Euphony Innovatives Sonified.